Good day everyone, I'm Reynan A. Marciales and today I will be discussing the basic of C#. This is programming language is widely used, especially in creating application and software. Simple lang po ang goal natin to understand what is C#, its features and kung paano siya maggamit in the field of education and beyond. I hope you find this discussion helpful and engaging. Let's get started. The first one is variables. Hello once again, I'm Reynan A. Marciales. Let's start with the basic of programming in C#, and that is variables. Now, what are variables? Variables are like containers and storage boxes in your programming. Imagine you're organizing your stuff at home. May mga lalagyanan ka para sa school supplies, pagkain, or damit. Ganyan din sa programming. May mga lalagyanan tayo para sa data, and these are called variables. Pero unlike sa regular boxes, ang mga variables sa C# ay kailangan ng specify na label at purpose. Ibig sabihin, bawat variable ay kailangan may data type na nagsasabi kung anong klaseng data ang bawat mong ilagay dito. It means kailangan mo ng bawat label. Di talaga pwede mawala yung bawat label sa C#. So, paano nga ba tayo mag-declare ng variable? To declare variable in C#, gagamitin natin ng syntax na ito. Here are the syntax. Ayan, nakikita niyo sa screen. So, data type, ito ang nagsasabi kung anong klase data ang pwede mong i-store. For example, integer for whole numbers, string for text, and so on. Actually, maanin natin yung mga data types na yan sa next nating topic. So, variable name. Itong pangalan ng variable name dapat descriptive para madali mong maintindihan kung anong data ang in-store dito. So, value. Ito ang actual na data na ilalagay mo sa variable. Kung ano yung nasa data na, kung ano yung lalabas na sa output. So, let's start with the example code. Declaring and using variables. Let's see simple example. Diyan nakikita nyo sa screen, may integer, age is 20, and string name is Reynan. So, example lang yan. Here's what happened in the code. Sa integer 20, nag-create tayo ng variable na pangalan ay age. Ang data type niya ay integer, kaya whole numbers lang ang pwede mong ilagay dito. Ang value nito ay 20. So, sa string name naman, Reynan, nag-create tayo ng variable ng name. Ang data type niya ay string, kaya or text or characters ang pwede niyang i-store. Ang value nito ay Reynan. Actually, malalaman din natin mamaya sa further topic na kung ano yung mga string integer na yan, which yung mga data types. Now, paano natin magagamit ang variables na ito? Pwede nating i-display ang values nila gamit ang console write line. Ang console write line ay for printing, kung ano yung mga lalabas sa output na. So, ayun na yung output, which is Reynan, name Reynan, age 20. So, bakit nga ba importante yung variables? Why is important? Variables are essential sa programming kasi they make your code dynamic. For example, kung gusto mong mag-store ng data na pwedeng magbago, like user or calculation, hindi mo na kailangang baguhin ng buong code mo. Imagine this. May isang program na nagka-calculate ng grades kung walang variables. Kailangan mong manually i-edit lahat ng grades sa code na ito. Pero dahil may variables, pwede mong i-update ang mga variables na ang mga value ng variables na ito. And everything works. So, dako naman tayo sa rules of naming variables. May mga rules tayo na sa pag-name ng variables. Let's start with the letter of underscore. Pwede may variables or may variables. Pero, bawal ang number sa simula. Yes, bawal po sa number ang simula. Kailangan letters lang, kung mga letters lang. And pangalawa is no space. Gumamit ng calm script tulad ng may variable name. So, bawal may space. Kailangan dikit-dikit talaga pag sa programming. Then, avoid reverse keyboards. Bawal gamitin yung mga C# keyboard tulad ng integer, class, or namespace bilang variable. Bawal na bawal po yun. Halimbawa, ito ang valid at invalid variables name. Integer my value equals 10. Valid po yan. Valid yan. And sa invalid naman, integer first in variable, invalid. Bawal magsimula sa number. So, integer, ito naman isa pang invalid. Integer class 20. Invalid, bawal gumamit ng reverse keyword. So, example na naman tayo sa reassign variables. Pwede rin nating baguhin ang value ng isang variables after i-declare ito. Tignan natin. Integer score 100. Console right lang. Yung nakikita niyo sa screen, guys. Yan. Change the value of score. Score 200. Console right update score plus score. So, ito ang output niya. Initial score is 100. Updated score is 200. Dito makikita natin na kahit na declare na ang score, pwede pa rin natin itong baguhin. This is useful kapag may mga dynamic na values sa program mo. Common errors sa variables. Now, let's talk about sa mga errors na. Here are some common mistakes na dapat mong iwasan. Forgetting to declare a variable. Console write. Error. Console write X. Error, the name X does not exist the current context. Dapat lagi mong i-declare ang variable bago gamitin. Using the wrong data type. Yan, example. Integer 20. Error cannot implicitly convert type string to integer. Ang integer ay para lang sa numbers, kaya hindi pwede ang text. Sunod is using an initialized variable. Integer score, console write line score. Error, use of assigned local value score. Lagi mong bigyan ng value ang variable bago ito gamitin. So, tip lang, kung may variables ka na madalas gamitin sa program mo, maglagay ka ng meaningful comments para hindi mo makalimutan kung para saan ito. Halimbawa, integer equals 20, string name Reynan, user age, and username. So, ayun na naman. So, that's the basic of variables in C#. Tandaan, variables are like containers for your data. Kapag na-master mo ito, magiging mas madali ang paggawa ng dynamic and reusable programs sa reusable programs. So, sa next topic natin, pag-usapan naman natin ang data types at kung paano ito related sa variables. Ayun lang. Now that we all know what variables are, let's talk about data types. Ano nga ba ang data types? Diba nasasabi natin ito kanina sa integer in string. Sa C#, ang data types ang nagsasabi kung anong klaseng data ang pwedeng i-store sa isang data, sa isang variable. Parang sa totoong buhay, may iba't ibang uri ng lalagyan para sa iba't ibang bagay. May box para sa sapatos, may jar para sa mga cookies, at may bag para sa damit. Sa programming, ganito rin ang data types. Sinisigurado na nilang tama ang lalagyan para sa data mo. So, let's talk about types of data types in C#. Value types. So, ang value types ay directly store ng value sa memory. Example nito ay numbers, characters, at booleans. Ito ang mga common value types. Integer, para sa mga whole numbers na. Example, 1, 2, 10, 2, 200, and so on and so forth. Double para sa mga decimal. Example, 3.14, negative 0.99, or mga something na basta may decimals. Char or character, para sa isang character. Example, A to Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, hanggang Z. Bool, para sa true or false na values. So, example, ito, nakita niyo sa screen ang code. Integer, age, 19, double price, 99.99. So, character grade is A. Bool is pass equals true. So, i-print natin yung apat na yan. So, ito ang lalabas. Age 19, price 999.99, grade A, pass true. Let me explain ba't ganun yung apat. Integer is for whole numbers, right? Di ba sinabi na natin nun sa previous na sinabi ko kanina na for whole numbers ang integer. Double handles decimal values. And character stores single character and close single quotes A to Z. Bool stores logical values, either true or false. Next slide. Reference type. Reference type, on the other hand, the memory address of the data instead of the actual value. Common examples are string, para sa sequence of character or text. Object, base type for all data types in C#. Example, string name Reynan. Object, anything 1, 2, 3 can store any data type. Console write natin, nakikita natin sa screen. Lagyan natin na always 2 para i-print yung mga nilagay natin. Yung console write time. So, ito ang output. Name, Reynan, anything 1, 2, 3. So, yun sa reference types. So, sa nullable types naman tayo. Sa C#, may tinatawag tayong nullable types na nagbibigay daan para sa value ng isang variable ay maging null. Example, integer, question mark, null, nakita niyo yan, ay yung code, and nullable integer 10. And always, lagyan natin ng console right line para ma-print. So, ang output ay 10. So, ba't nga ba natin yun? Let me explain. The question mark symbol makes a value type nullable. Initially, nullability integer is null. Later, we assign it a value of 10. So, what do we need data types? Data types are important because they ensure data integrity. Sinisigurado nilang tama ang data na ini-store mo. Example, kung whole number lang ang kailangan mo gamitin, ang integer. Gagamitin mo lang ang integer pag whole number. So, next is optimize memory usage. Iba't ibang uri ng data types, may iba't ibang memory size or instance. Kumbaga, may halimbawa, integer use for 4 bytes while double use 8 bytes. So, next is prevent errors. Hindi ka makakagawa ng invalid operators tulad ng pag-add ng text sa numbers. Example error tayo, integer age 20, word na 20 instead of 20. Error cannot implicitly convert type string to integer. Kasi nga, di ba, pag integer, whole numbers lang ang pwede. Ito ang mga data types size natin at mga ranges nila. Let's take a look at the size and range of some common data types. Ayan. Data types integer is only 4 bytes. Ang range niya ay negative 2 million and above and 2 billion and above. Next is double, 8 bytes lang. Ang character is 2 bytes and bool is 1 byte. Always remember to choose right data type based on the size and range of the data you're working with. Casting and conversion. Casting and conversion. Sometimes kailangan mo i-convert ang mga data types sa isang variable sa ibang data types. May dalawang paraan para gawin ito. Una is implicit casting. Automatic conversion from smaller to larger data types. Example, integer num10, double result num. Implicit casting yan. So, console write natin and result is 10. So, implicit casting, manually conversion and using parentheses. Example, double price equal 999.999, nakikita niyo sa screen. Bracket and integer, rounded price, integer price, implicity casting. So print, so our output is 999.999 and 99. Explanation, implicit casting happens automatically when no data loss occurs. And implicit casting is required when there potentially for data loss, like converting double to integer. So dun naman tayo sa mga common errors with data types. Type mismatch. Example, integer number hello. Error, cannot convert string to integer. Like sabi ko nga kanina, is integer is for only for whole numbers. Overflow. Example, byte, small number, 300. Error, value is outside the range of byte. Small number lang and 300 yung nalagay natin. So, tip lang, kapag hindi ka sigurado kung anong data type ang gagamitin, start with bar. Example, bar, may variable equals 1, 2, 3. Compiler infers the data type as integer. Pero tandaan, gamitin lang ang bar kapag clear ang context ng data mo. So, that's everything about data types in C#. Tandaan, ang data types ang nagsisiguradong tama at secure ang pag-store mo ng data sa program na ito. Sa next topic, papag-usapan naman natin ang numbers and how to work with them. Numbers. Now that we understand variables and data types, let's dive deeper into numbers in C#. Numbers are one of the most common types of data in programming. Ginagamit din ito sa calculators, counters, ID, and more. The C# number naman can be divided into two main categories: whole numbers and decimal. Whole numbers is integer without decimal points. Decimal numbers, floating point with decimal points. Let's explore each in detail with example and explanation. Whole numbers, integers. Whole numbers are stored using the integer data type. As we discussed earlier, the integer are only para lang sa whole number. Sa whole number yun, na walang decimal points. Here's a code example. Integer apples 5, sa orange naman ay 3, and total fruits are, and integer total fruits, apple plus orange. Then, iprita natin siya. So, explain natin kung ano yun, kung ano yung sa code na yun. We declare two integer variables, apple and orange, and nag-assign tayo na value ay 5 and 3. Then, we calculated the total number of fruits using the plus operator and stored it into total fruits. Finally, we display the result using console write line. So, the output is total fruits ay 8. Kasi nag-declare na tayo, so yung answer na lang lalabas. So, key points. Ito yung mga dapat tandaan. Integer are efficient for storing whole numbers. You cannot store decimal in an integer. For example, integer price 11.5. Error. Bakit? Decimal point. Cannot share integer cannot store decimal. It's for only whole numbers. If you need decimal, use float point data type or double. Like yung mga sinabi ko kanina sa data types, right? Decimal numbers, floating point numbers, or numbers with decimal points. We use data types like float, double, or decimal. Code example, double height and double weight, 5.9 and 6. Sa weight naman is example tayo ng 68.5. Height is feet and weight is kilogram. And i-print na natin. So, we declare two variables, height and weight, and these are variables can store numbers with decimal points. We display their values and with descriptive text. So, ang output ay height 5.9 feet and weight 68.5 kilogram. Use double for most decimal numbers because it is more precise than float. If you need extremely high precision, example for financial calculation, use decimal. Example with decimal. Ayan, yung example natin nung kanina na yung 99.999 price. Add M to specify it's a decimal. And ipalitan natin. Without the M, you'll get an error because C# assume that value is a double. Pero dito is decimal. Sa sinabi natin kanina is for double lang. So, next tayo sa numeric operators. So, in programming, numbers are not just for storage. We also perform operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Ito ang example natin para sa demonstrating basic arithmetic. Actually, mayroon pa tayong topic about sa arithmetic mamaya. So, code example is integer A and B. Sa A ay 10, sa B naman ay 3. So, i-addition muna natin siya sa A plus B. Then, consolidate natin. Ipirinta natin ng addition ipa-plus natin ng A tsaka B, and subtract natin sa A minus B. And sa other is multiplication natin, division, and remainder sa module. Actually, sa arithmetic, ma-discuss din natin yan. So, explain ko lang din para may idea na kayo kung ano yung mga arithmetic. Sa addition, syempre, additional yan, and a-adds natin ng two numbers. Example, 10 plus 3 is equal to 13. Subtraction is minus, so ang equals na 10 minus 3 ay 7. Sa multiplication naman is 10 times 3 equals 30. Divide one number by another. Example, 10 divide 3 is 3 integer division. So sa modules naman, finds the remainder of division. Example, 10 modulus 3 is equal 1. Here's an output sa code natin kanina na gumamit tayo ng arithmetic. So, addition, 13. Subtraction, 7. Multiplication, 30. Division, 3. Remainder, 1. So, ayun yung sa code natin na 10 tsaka 3. So, when dividing integers, the result is also an integer. If you need precise result with decimals, at least one of the numbers must be double or float. Example, double result equals 10.0 divided by 3.0. Tapos i-print na natin. Ang output ay may division na with decimal, 3.3333. So, next is working with large numbers. Sa large number naman tayo. Sometimes we need to store very large numbers for this. We use long code. So, example tayo ng code. Here, nakita nyo sa screen. Long distance to moon. 3,384,000. Distance in meters. So, meters na yan. And i-print na natin. So, explain natin. Long can store very large numbers. Much larger than integer. Use this when working with large data sets or measurement. So, output is, distance to the moon is 3 million meters. Actually, ay nakita niyo sa screen, ayan yung output niya. If you try to store this in integer, it will throw an error because the value exceed the range of integer. So, next, converting between numbers types. Sometimes we need to convert numbers from one type to another. For example, from integer to double or vice versa. So the example, integer number num1 equals 10, double num2 equals num1. Implicit conversion. Like sinabi natin kanina. Tapos consolidate na natin sa nakikita nyo sa screen, meron pa tayo palang double num3 9.99. Integer num4 equals integer num3. Explicit naman dito, explicit conversion. Kasi convert na natin lahat. Convert to integer and num4. Explain ko lang na maayos. Implicit conversion, when converting a smaller data type, integer, to a larger one double, C# does it automatically. Sa implicit conversion naman, when converting a larger data type double to smaller one, integer, you need to use a cas na double yung parenthesis. Lagyan natin parang dalawang parenthesis. So, ang output natin ay double value 10 and converted to integer is 9. Implicit conversion may lead to data loss as in the example where 9.99 become 9. Right now, wala yung parang decimal points niya. So, number are the backbone of programming. By understanding how to restore, operate on, and convert them, you can build programs that handle calculation and data processing effectively. Next, we'll explore arithmetic. Dito na tayo para, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, next na tatalakay natin is arithmetic naman. Where we apply what we learned about numbers to solve real-world problems. So, arithmetic. Let's move on to arithmetic operations in C#. Arithmetic is a fundamental part of programming, especially when dealing with numbers. It allows us to perform basic math operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, and more. Actually, di ba na gawa na natin siya kanina. But now, let's explain further what is arithmetic. Sa madaling salita, ito yung mga basics mathematical operators na ginagamit natin sa coding. Kahit simpleng calculator or complex na financial system, arithmetic plays a big role. So, arithmetic operators in C#. Here's a quick rundown of the common arithmetic operators in C#. So, operator addition, symbol is plus. Add two numbers, A plus B. Example, A plus B. Sa subtraction, ito ang symbol niya. Ayan lang. Subtraction, one number. Subtract one number. A minus B. Example natin yan. Multiplication, times. Para siya yung sa symbol niya. Multiplies two numbers. Example, A times B. Division, divide one number. And modulus finds remainder. Diba, explain ka na natin yan kanina. Ngayon, let's explore each operator with examples. Addition. Addition is used to add two numbers. Code example. Integer num1, integer num2. Sa num1 ay 10, sa num2 ay 20. So, next is integer sum equals num1 plus num2. And iprinta natin siya. So, let's explain further. We declared two variables, num1 and num2, and assigned them values 10 and 20. We added these numbers using the plus operator and stored the result in sum. Finally, we display the result using console writeline. So, let's see the output. Ganito kadali ang gamitin ang addition sa C#. Ayan yung output. The sum of 10 and 20 is 30. Actually, 30 lang yung lalabas niyan. Ayan, nakikita nyo, 30 lang lumabas sa output. So, now let's talk about sa subtraction naman. Subtraction is used to find the difference between two numbers. So, example, integer num1, 50, integer num2, 30. Tapos, next natin is integer differences num1 minus num2. And printa natin. Diba? Parang same lang sa addition kanina. We assigned 50 to num1 and 30 to num2. Then, we subtracted num2 from num1 using the operator and stored the result in difference. We printed the results. Yan, ayun na nakikita natin. The difference between 50 and 30 is 20. So, lalabas is 20. Ayun yung output. Subtraction is straightforward and works exactly like in regular math. Multiplication naman tayo. Multiplication is used to calculate the product of two numbers. Here's the code example. Integer length. Integer width. Sa length ay 5, sa width 4. So, ang integer area, length times width, iprintan natin. We assign 5 to length and 4 to width. Using the multiplication operator, we multiplied these values to calculate the area. The result was displayed in the descriptive way. So, ito yung output. The area of rectangle with length 5 and width 4 is 20. So, multiplication is often used in real-world calculation like finding areas of or totals. Pwede din gamitin yun sa mga grades. So, next sa division naman. Division is used to find the quotient when one number is divided by another. Here's the code example. Integer total marks 100. Integer subject 4. And sa average naman is total marks ng subject. Then, i-print na natin. We divided total marks by subject using the divide operator. The result was stored in average and display. So, here's the output. The average marks are 25. If both numbers are integer, the result will also be an integer. To get the decimal result, at least one of the numbers must be floating point type. Double result. So, kailangan, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina is 10.0 and 3.0. Then, sabay print. So, lalabas sa output ay 3.3333. Integer division discards the decimal part. So, sa modulus naman. The modulus operator gives the reminder when one is divided by another. So, here's the example. Integer divided by 10 and divided 10 and integer divisor 3. Then, integer reminder. Divided, modulo, divisor, and sabay print na natin. We use the modulo operator to find reminder of 10 divided by 3. The result was stored in reminder and displayed. Ito ang display niya. Ito yung output. The reminder when 10 is divided by 3 is 1. Modulus useful in scenarios like checking if the number is even or odd. So, example tayo. Integer number 7. So, if number modulus 2, actually sa if, matatalakay din natin yan sa next topic natin. So, if number modulus 2 equals 0, then print, and else if not, if di siya odd. If ibig sabihin even siya, if even siya, and sa else is odd, if odd siya. So, ang output is 7. 7 is odd. Kasi ang modulus niya ay 2. Ay, actually, else. Kasi, odd. Else kasi nga, hindi siya even. Ang 7 na is odd. So, the output is odd. So, next tayo sa combining arithmetic operations. We can combine multiple arithmetic operators in one expression. For example, sa integer A ay 10, sa B, 5, and sa C, 2. Tapos i-result na natin, sabay print, A plus B, then times C. Parentheses are used to group operators and control the order of execution. In this example, A plus B, di ba naka-bracket, naka-parentheses siya, is calculated first. Then, the result is multiplied by C. So, ang output ay 30. This is called operator precedence. Operators like times and division have higher precedence than plus and then addition and subtraction. Always use parentheses to make your code clear. Arithmetic operators are the building blocks of many programs. Whatever you're calculating totals, average, and or solving equation, Understanding these operators is essential. So, next na tayo, we'll explore naman the operators. See, lagi natin siya nababanggit yung mga operators sa arithmetic nating topic. So, we'll explore operators in C# naman sa next, which includes comparison and logical operators to enhance our decision making in programs. Ngayon naman, sa operators tayo. Pag-usapan natin ang operators sa C#. Operators are symbol or keywords that perform operators on variables and value. Meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng operators, arithmetic, comparison, logical, at iba pa. Sa tutorial na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang comparison operators at logical operators. Comparison operators. Comparison operators are used to compare two values. Ang mga ito ay nagbabalik ng true to or false, depende sa result ng comparison. Here's the list of comparison operators in C#. Equal to. Ayan, operator, equal to. Ang symbol ay dalawang equal. Check if two values are equal. Example, A equal to B. Operator, not equal to. Symbol, not, and equal. Check if two variables are not equal. Example, A not equal to B. Operator, greater than. Symbol, greater than. Pa dito. Check if the left value is greater than the right value. A greater than B. Ayan yung example. Less than. Opposite side naman. Check if the left value is less than the right value. A less than B. So, next operator tayo is greater than or equal to. Ito yung symbol. Greater than and equal to. Check if the left value is greater than or equal to the right value. A greater than equal B. Then, same naman sa less than or equal to. Less than, equal to. Check if the left value is less than or equal to the right value. A less than, equal to B. Let's break down one by one with example. Equal to. The equal to operator is used to check if the values are equal. Code example. Integer A and B. 5, 5. Parehong 5. If A equal to B, ipiprint natin siya ng A is equal to B. Else is not. So, we declare two variables A and B, assigned them the value of 5. The equal to operator compares if is A or B is equal. If they are equal, the message is equal to B. A is equal to B. Then, otherwise, if it's not. So, dahil equal ang 5 and 5, the output is A is equal to B. Comparison operators are case sensitive. So, 5 equal to 5 will return true. But hello equal to hello will return false. Kasi mali yung letter ng hello sa isa. So, hindi sila equal. So, next is not equal naman tayo. Sa not equal to. The not equal to operator is used to check if two values are not equal. So, code example. Integer A and B. So, sa A ay 10, sa B ay 20. If A not equal to B, console write A is not equal to B. Otherwise, ipiprint siya ng A is equal to B. We assign 10 to A and B to B. And we assign 10 to A and 20 to B. The not equal operator check if it's not equal to B. Since A is not equal to B, ipiprint siya ng A is not equal to B. So, here's the output. A is not equal to B. This operator is useful when we want to make sure two values are different. So sa for, sa greater than naman tayo. So, here's the example code. If a greater than, so integer a is 15 and integer b is 10. So if the a is greater than b, console write a is greater than b, and otherwise a is not greater than b. So we assign 15 to a and 10 to b. The greater than operator check if a is greater than b. Since a is greater than b, the message is a is greater than b. So here's the output, no? A is greater than b. So gets naman, no, sa greater than. So doon naman tayo sa less than, which is kabaliktaran ng greater than. The operator less than operator checks if the left value is less than the right value. So baliktad lang sila, no? So same example lang. Integer a is 5 and integer b is 10. Yan nakikita naman sa screen. We assign 5 to a and 10 to b. The less than operator checks if a is less than b. Since a is less than b, magpiprint siya and ang output ay a is less than b. So let's now move on to greater than or equal to. The greater than equal to operator checks if the left value is greater than or equal to the right value. So here's the code example. We assign, here's nasa screen. Ito yung code. We assign 10 to both a and b. The greater and equal to operator check if a is greater than or equal to b. Since a is equal to b, magpiprint siya ng a is greater than or equal to b. So ayan yung output niya sa code na kanina. So next topic na tayo, which is the less than or equal to. The less than equal to is kapaligtaran nun din. So para lang siyang less than and greater than. So here's the example, code example. So we assign a is to 5 and 10 to b. The less than and equal to operator check if less than or equal to b. Since a is less than b, here's the output. A is less than or equal to b. So dako na tayo sa logical operator. Now let's talk about logical operator. These are used to combine, multiply condition. Ang mga logical operators ay madalas ginagamitan ay mga ito: and, or not. Ang tatlong yan. So operator symbol and, ayan, makikita naman sa screen yung chart. Condition return true if both conditions are true, and not reverse the logical state of its operated. Let's look each one in detail. And the and operator is used to check if the both conditions are true. So here's the code example. The condition check if a is greater than b, and if c is greater than a. Since both conditions are true, mapiprint siya ng both conditions are true. So ang output ay both conditions are true. So sa or naman, the or operator check if at least one condition is true. So here's the example code na nasa screen sa or operator. The condition checks if A is greater than B, or if C is greater than A. Since the first condition is true, ang piprint ay least one condition is true. So, ang output ay at least one condition is true. So, sa not naman tayo, which is the last logical operator. The not operator reverse the logical state of its operated. So, here's the example code nasa screen. So, the not operator negates the condition A greater than 5. So, since A is not less than 5, it prints not less than 5. So, ang output ay A is not less than 5. So, operators are essential for controlling the flow of logic in your programs. They allow us to compare values and make decisions based on those comparisons. Logical operators help us combine multiple conditions, which is crucial for building complex decision-making process in our code. So, ayun lang sa mga operators. So, sa if-else naman tayo. Ngayon naman, papag-usapan natin ang if-else statement. Ang if-else statement ay ginagamit para mag-execute ng code based sa condition. Kung ang condition ay true, mag-execute ang block of code na naka-indicate sa loob ng if. Kung hindi naman, pwede tayong maglagay ng else block para sa ibang actions. So, tignan natin kung paano ito ginagamit sa mga code. So, here's the basic if statement. Ang pinaka-basic ng if statement ay ganito. Ito yung syntax niya, if condition. And dito mo ilalagay yung sa code to be executed if condition is true. So, here's the example code. Bali yung nauna isa yung syntax niya. Tapos, here's the example of the code. Nakikita niyo yung system. So, dito, may condition tayo na A greater than 5. Kung ang value ng A ay greater than 5, mag-execute ang code sa loob ng if block at magpiprint ng A is greater than 5. Kung hindi, walang mangyayari. So, ang output ay A is greater than 5. So, next tayo sa which is the using else. Pwede tayong maggamit ng else block kung gusto nating mag-execute ng ibang code kapag ang condition ay false. Here's how we can add an else statement. So, here's the example code ay nakita niyo sa screen. So, kung ang value ng A ay less than or equal to 5, magpiprint siya ng A is not greater than 5. Kung ang condition naman na A is less than 5 ay false, mag-execute na ang code na sa loob ng else block. Kung true naman ang condition, magpiprint siya ng A is greater than 5. So, ang output is A is not greater than 5. So, ayan yung output. So, next na tayo, if-else ladder. Pwede din tayo maglagay ng maraming else-if statement para mag-check ng multiple condition. Ito ay tinatawag na if-else ladder. Code example. Ayan. Nakita niyo sa screen. First, titignan kung ang A ay greater than 15. Kung true, magpiprint siya ng A is greater than 15. Kung hindi naman, tinitignan naman ng else if kung ang A ay greater than 5. Kung true, magpiprint siya ng A is greater than 5 but less than or equal 15. Kung pareho silang false, magpiprint siya ng A is less than or equal to 5. So, here's the output. A is greater than 5 but less than or equal to 5. So, ayun lang sa if-else ladder. So, next is using logical operators in if statement. Pwede rin tayong gamitin ng mga logical operator tulad ng and at or sa loob ng if statement para mag-combine ng multiple condition. Diba napag-usapan natin yung last topic, yung and or. Here's the code example. Yan nakikita niyo sa screen. Gamit ang and operator, titignan kung both condition are true. Kung ang A is greater than 5 at B less than 10 ay parehong true, magpiprint siya ng A is greater than 5 and B is less than 5. Kung kahit isa sa mga condition ay false, hindi mag-execute ang code sa loob ng if block. So, the output is A is greater than 5 and B is less than 10. So, next naman is if statement with multiple condition using or. Pwede rin natin gamitin ng or operator para mag-check kung kahit isa sa mga condition ay true. Here's the example code nasa screen. Gamit ang or operator, titignan kung either condition is true. Kung ang kahit isa sa mga condition ay true, magpiprint siya at least one condition is true. Kung parehong false ang condition, hindi mag-execute ang code sa loob ng if block. Parang same lang sa end kanina. So, ang output ay at least one condition is true. So, ang if statement ay isang napaka-importanteng concept sa programming dahil itong ginagamit natin para decision making sa ating code. Kung walang if statement, hindi natin matutukoy kung ano ang gagawin ng program depende sa mga condition. Ginagamit ito sa halos lahat ng klase ng program. So, let's now move on sa loop, which is sa C# meron tayong tatlong loop na tinatawag. First one is while loop, second one is do while loop, and the third one is for loop. So, unahin na natin muna ang while loop. Ang while loop ay isang basic na control flow structure na ginagamit kapag hindi mo alam ang exact number ng iteration pero alam mo ang condition kung kailan dapat tumigil. Sa while loop, paulit-ulit na ini-execute ang code hanggat true ang condition. So, here's the syntax. Ayan nasa screen. Paano ito gumagana? Tini-check ang condition kung true. Ipapatuloy ang loop body pag true. Ulit-ulitin ito hanggang false ang condition. So, here's the example, simple counter. Halimbawa, gusto nating mag-print ng numbers mula 1 hanggang 5 gamit ang while loop. So, here's the example of my code. Nag-set ang counter sa 1 habang counter greater than equal to 5, magpiprint ang value ng counter at i-increment siya. Titigil ang loop kapag counter ay greater than 5. So, here's the output. Counter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, dahil nagawa na natin ng while loop, so pag-usapan naman natin ng mga common mistakes na ito. Infinite loop. Kung hindi mo ina-update ang condition like while, true, mag-o-overtime ang loop. So, second, off by 1 errors. Kung mali ang condition, counter greater 5, magkaka-mistake sa number ng iterations. So, number 3, unreachable code. Kung ang condition ay false agad, hindi tatakbong loop. So, now let's move on to do while loop. Ang do while loop ay katulad ng while loop, pero may difference. Lagi na-execute ng loop body at least once bago i-check ang condition. Here's the syntax of do while loop. Paano ito gumagana? In-execute muna ang code body, tini-check ang condition, kung true, uulitin ang loop. So, here's the example. Halimbawa, gusto natin mag-print ng numbers mula 1 to 5 ulit gamit ang do while loop. So, here's the code. Here's my code. So, let me explain. Kahit ang counter ay 1, magpiprint muna siya. Ini-increment ang counter sa bawat iteration at mag-check kung counter greater than equal to 5. Titigil lang loop kapag counter ay greater to 5. So, here's the output. Parang same lang siya sa while. Always execute once kung gusto mong matiyak na mag-run ng loop kahit false agad ang condition. Gawin mong do while. Here's the example code. Kahit false ang condition, x greater than 5, mag-run pa rin ang code. So, the output is this will run at least once. So, let's now move on sa pangatlong loop, the for loop. Ang for loop ay ginagamit kapag hindi mo alam kung ilang beses mo gustong mag-iterate. Ideal siya kung may fixed na number or iterations. Here's the syntax of for loop. Initiation, condition, and increment, decrement. Paano ito gumagana? Ini-analyze ang loop variable, tini-check ang condition sa bawat iterations, gagawin ng code body at i-increment, decrement ang loop variable. Paulit-ulit itong gagawin hanggang maging false ang condition. So, here's the example of for loop. Gusto natin mag-print ng numbers mula 1 hanggang 5 gamit ang for loop. Here's my code. For integer I equals 1, bracket 1 and 5. So, explanation. Ina-analyze ang I sa 1. Habang I greater than equal to 5, magpiprint ang value ng I at i-increment siya ng I++, which is pag plus plus, nagdadagdag siya ng 1. Titigil ang loop kapag I is less than 5. So, here's the output. Number 1 to 5. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Halimbawa, gusto nating i-compute, next, halimbawa, gusto nating i-compute yung sum na numbers mula 1 hanggang 10. Sa 10 naman tayo. Here's the code para sa 1 to 10 naman. Let me explain. Sum ay ina-analyze sa 0. Ang I ay ini-iterate mula 1 hanggang 10 at i-add siya sa sum. Pagkatapos ng loop, ang sum ay 55. So, ang output is the sum is 55. So, let's summarize the tree loop. Use it when So let's summarize the tree loop. So while loop, use it when you don't know how many times to iterate but know the condition that will end the loop. Sa do while naman, this guarantee that the code runs at least once. Useful when you need to check the condition after the first execution. For loop, ideal when you know exactly how many iterations you need and want to concise setup. But by understanding these loops, you can handle various types of repetitive tasks efficiently in your programs. So, sa break and continue statements naman tayo. So, ngayon, papag-usapan natin ang break and continue statements sa C#. These are called control flow statements na nagbibigay ng additional control sa loob ng loops. Sobrang useful nila kapag gusto mong i-skip ang isang iteration o tumigil agad sa loop. So what is the break statement? Ang break statement ay ginagamit para agad na tumigil ang isang loop. Kapag na-trigger ito, lalabas sa program sa loop kahit hindi pa tapos ang ibang iteration. Here's the syntax. Break and bracket lang. So, example of breaking out of the loop. Halimbawa, gusto nating hanapin ang unang even number sa isang listahan ng numbers kapag nakita na natin. Hindi na natin kailangan magpatuloy sa loop. Here's the example code. So, nakita naman natin. Ang loop ay nag-iterate mula 1 hanggang 10. Kapag may nakita itong even number na I modulus 2 equals to 0, ipiprint ito. Ang break statement ay titigil agad sa loop kahit may natitirang iterations pa. So, ang output ay first even number found 2. So, ano naman ang continue statement? Ang continue statement naman ay ginagamit para i-skip ang kasalukuyang iteration at magpatuloy sa susunod. Hindi ito tinatapos ang loop. Ini-skip lang nito ang current iterations. Here's the syntax. Continue bracket. So, same lang talaga sila. Continue break. So, example naman sa skipping odd numbers. Halimbawa, gusto nating i-print lang ang even numbers mula 1 hanggang 10 at i-skip ang odd numbers. Here's the example code. Explanation. Explain natin kung ano yung sa code. Ang loop ay ini-iterate mula 1 hanggang 10. Kaya sa break, nasabi natin sa break. Kapag ang I ay odd, I modulus 2 not equal to 0. So, gumamit na tayo ng not. Ang continue ay mag-skip sa kasalukuyang iteration. Kapag even ang I, ipiprint ito. So, where's the output? Even number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, using naman break and continue together, pwede rin natin gamitin ng break at continue sa iisang loop. Halimbawa, gusto nating hanapan ng unang even number na divisible by 4 pero gusto rin nating i-skip ang odd numbers. Here's the example code. Ang loop ay nag-iterate na mula 1 hanggang 10. Ang continue ay nag-skip ng odd numbers. Kapag ang even number ay divisible by 4, ipiprint ito at ititigil ang loop gamit ang break. So, the output is first even number divisible by 4 ay 4. So, kailan nga ba ginagamit ang break at continue? Ang break ay ginagamit kapag gusto mong tapusin agad ang loop. Halimbawa, kapag natagpuan mo na ang hinahanap mo, ang continue ay ginagamit kapag gusto mong i-skip ang kasalukuyang iteration at magpatuloy sa susunod. Ang break at continue statements ay nagbibigay ng flexibility sa pag-handle ng loops. Kapag naiintindihan mo kung paano sila gamitin, mas magiging efficient ang iyong code. Tandaan lang na gamitin sila ng maingat para maiwasan ng mga logical errors tulad ng infinite loops. So, the last one topic, which is methods. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin ng methods sa C#. Methods are block of codes na may specific task na reusable. Ginagamit natin ang method para gawing organized, modular at mas madaling i-maintain ang ating code. So, ano nga ba ang method? Ang method ay isang function na nakapaloob sa isang class. Pwede itong tawagin multiple times para mag-execute parehong code. Parang shortcut ito para hindi natin kailangan ulit-ulitin ang parehong logic. So, here's the syntax. Return type, method name, parameters. Components. Ano ang mga components ito? Return type, ang uri ng value na ibinabalik ng methods. Kung walang ibinabalik, ginagamit ang void. Method name, pangalan ng method, dapat descripted at camel case ang naming conversion. Parameters, optional lang ito. Ang inputs na tinatanggap ng methods. Body, ang code block na naglalaman ng logic. So here's the example of simple method. Halimbawa, gumagawa tayo ng method at magpiprint ang message. Here's the example code. Ang void ay nagsasabing walang ibinabalik na value ang method. Ang pangalan ng method ay print message. Kapag tinawag ang method, ipiprint ito ang message. How to call a method? Print message, parenthesis, and bracket. So, the output is hello. This is simple method. So, method with parameters naman. Pwede rin tayo maglagay ng inputs na sa method gamit ang parameters. Here's the example code. How to call a method. Create user, Raynan, parenthesis. Ang string name ay parameters na tumatanggap ng input. Kapag tinatawag ang greet user, Raynan, ang Raynan ay magiging value na name. So, ang output ay hello, Raynan word. Welcome to C# methods. So, sa ano naman tayo? Methods with return values. Kapag gusto nating magbalik ng value mula sa method, gagamitin tayo ng return keyword. So, here's the example code. So, paano tawagin ng method? Integer, result, add numbers, console write line, and the sum is. So, let me explain. Ang method ay tumatanggap ng dalawang integers, num1 at num2. Ang return ay nagbabalik ng sum ng dalawang numbers. Ang result ay nakastore sa variables na result. So, ang output is, the sum is 12. So, sa method overloading naman. Ang method overloading ay isang features kung saan pwede tayong gumawa ng methods na may parehong pangalan para ibang parameters. So here's the example code. So here's of how to call the methods. May dalawang display info methods, pero iba ang parameters nila. Ang unang method ay tumatanggap lang ng name, habang pangalawa ay tumatanggap ng name at age. So, ang output ay Raynan. Name Raynan, age 19. So, sa real life example naman, calculator. Gumawa tayo ng simple calculator na may methods para sa basic operations tulad ng addition, subtraction, multiplication, at division. So, here's the code example. So, let me explain. Ang bawat operators ay may sariling method. Ang divide method ay may error checkings para sa division by 0. So, here's the output of addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and division. So, ano nga bang benefits ng using methods? Code reusability. Hindi mo na kailangang ulit-ulitin ang parehong logic. Readability. Mas madaling basahin at maintindihan ng code. Modularity. Pwedeng hati-hatiin ang code at malitin ang parts para mas organize. So, ang method ay isa sa pinakamahalagang bahagi ng C# programming. Kapag natutunan mong gamitin ito ng tama, magiging mas malinis, modular at efficient ang iyong code. Tandaan na palaging gumamit ng descriptive na names para sa method para mas madaling maintindihan ang kanilang purpose. At dyan natatapos ang ating discussion para sa mga topics ng C#. Sana ay naging malinaw ang bawat concept na tinalakay natin mula variables hanggang methods. Ang lahat ng ito ay fundamental topics na napakalaga sa programming, lalo na kung gusto nating mag-build ng efficient, organized at scalable na application. Kung may mga tanong pa kayo o parts na hindi masyadong malinaw, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong. Tandaan, ang programming ay isang continuous learning process. The more you practice, the more you understand how these concepts work together to solve real world problem. Once again, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. I hope na marami kayong natutunan sa ating discussion. Good luck po sa inyong programming journey, at lagi ninyong tandaan, coding is not just about writing code. It's about solving problem, creativity, and effectively. Muli, ako si Reynan A. Marciales from BSI ICT 2A. Nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat. Magandang araw po. Okay na.